I'm Susie Vine with 3X Less Stress and with Vine Therapy, and I'm passionate about helping people to live with less stress on the physical, emotional, and environmental levels so they can live with greater vitality and with lasting resilient health. And I'm inspired today to just share some of my thoughts on why I'm passionate about addressing stress as a means to transforming overall holistic health, and why I feel like it's important to address stress even if you don't feel like it might be affecting your health right now. So first of all, I was inspired to take this holistic approach to addressing stress through the work that I was doing previously. I used to work specifically with senior clients. They were almost all in their 80s and 90s. And while I loved working with that group and helping them through transitions, through different phases of their life, and help them make the most of their years and enhance their homes, the reasons that they were calling on me for assistance were in great part due to more limitations being placed upon them due to chronic health issues and the things that we encounter later in life. More limitations due to health, due to losing their independence. And I was recognizing, as over the last couple of years, more and more emphasis has been placed on the importance of stress and the way that it can lay the foundation for chronic disease. A lot of the chronic disease that we consider to be epidemic in our country right now, in the US, we have such high levels of cardiovascular disease, of cancer, of people acquiring diabetes and health challenges related to that, of people who complain with a variety of symptoms that seem to have no cure, although they may be seeking medical help from all kinds of specialists and people who are trying to address unique situations rather than addressing the whole body and really taking a look at people's holistic health. Symptoms like migraines, digestive issues, insomnia, fatigue, that sort of thing. These issues that are really hard to shake but really add up to limiting your lifestyle, your energy, the things you can do in the day, the things that you want to do. They bring down your energy and they reduce your immunity. And we all recognize, especially right now, how really crucial it is to support a healthy immunity, to support resilience so that our body's able to heal itself, because that is part of the miracle of what we as humans are able to do when we give ourselves, our bodies, what they need through ideal nutrition, through movement and exercise, through social connection and engagement, through learning and enjoying new experiences. All of those, you don't have to be a master at all of them, but all of those factors add up to stimulating our bodies and facilitating that miracle of healing that humans can do. I like to say to my clients, it's so healthy to recognize that we are highly improbable and miraculous beings, truly, in what we can survive and how we can thrive, even in tough situations. And at the same time, how delicate we really are and how important it is to achieve and to maintain that homeostasis, that balance of support that keeps our body in its healthy operating range. So stress can lay the foundation, as I was saying, for these chronic issues that are so widespread and are taxing our health system in the US these days. And over time, and as perhaps one health issue might be compounded by others, we tend to find ourselves with less opportunity, with less options, with less ability to move freely, to live the lifestyle that we probably choose to have. And personally, in my generation, in the Gen X era, we are certainly right now in the position of being the sandwich generation. I don't have children at home, but many of my peers are raising their children, getting them ready to go off or ushering them through college right now, and at the same time dealing with more health issues and greater needs from their parents. And so being in that position, being between these two generations that have needs, as well as managing their own career in the height of our careers at this stage of our lives, there's a lot of call on the sandwich generation to step up, to provide for others, and it's easy to let ourselves, our health and well-being, take a back seat because it seems like everyone else has needs that they're demanding from us right now. Add to that work and the demands that that puts on us, and you can see we pretty quickly get moved pretty far down the list. So you might be feeling totally fine. You might just say, oh, I wish I could get a little bit more sleep, or I wish I felt a little happier. I wish it was easier to lift my spirits. I wish I didn't feel so isolated. Currently, at the moment, that's something that is far-reaching, but at the same time, I think that people are recognizing that social media doesn't have to be an isolating aspect. We can actually turn it to our advantage, and when we're mindful, we can establish greater connection through social media channels. So people are opening up to changing their tack on things, and that's why I think it's a perfect time to start this conversation about how we can resolve our relationship, transform our relationship with stress so that it serves us better, and it can be a key to health. So one of the things that happens is when we're under stress, we have a very basic physical response and a psychological response. And physically, it changes our circulation. It shunts circulation, blood flow away from our digestive organs and to muscles, so that in our very fundamental, very primal state, we are ready to respond, to take flight, if that's what's called upon. And, it takes a long time for eons of evolution and physical state to change, even as quickly as our technology and workplace demands have evolved. So we've got to find a balancing place there. Our body still reads a lot of things as a stress on the primal level and creates these physical responses. And what we are recognizing is the power that we have to change our response to stress. If we take the opportunity to shift our mindset, to consider stress as a challenge that we can overcome, as an inspiration to rise to demands, and as a thrill when we overcome it, then those little pivots, you can feel how different that feels than you might be typically meeting stress as, oh, one more thing, and how can I get this done, and where will I find the time, and how can they ask this of me? All of this really heavy emotional response we often get to feeling stressors by making little pivots in the way that we meet stress, acknowledge stress, and rise to the challenge. We can make powerful shifts in how our body is taking that response. Because when we psychologically don't see it as a threat, then our body isn't moved by the stress hormones, by cortisol and by epinephrine, to make the physical changes that our bodies have been designed to follow through. So it's so powerful to recognize how we can, through our mindset and through our practices, begin to better prepare and better meet the demands of stress. And it's important to do that before we are in stress, because part of that primitive response, the amygdala, or the lizard brain, it moves us out of our frontal cortex way of thinking, where we're mindful, where we can choose our reaction, and to a more primitive, reflexive, instinctual response, where we go to habits and old patterns. And so before we're in that moment of stress, when it's hard to think about how we want to respond, what we can be doing is we can cultivate the habits of mindfulness, of presence, and of curiosity to shift the way that we meet situations and experiences that would traditionally be stressful. So by being mindful and practicing meditation or Qigong, Tai Chi, one of those movement meditation practices, you can really start to cultivate that muscle of being present in the moment. When we live in fear, we are expecting trouble from the future. We're not in the present moment. So it's so important to recognize that being present gives us power to address the moment that we are in. We're giving away our presence when we're worried about things that are coming. And so by being mindful and by learning to observe events as they're coming, to pause in the midst of our reaction, and to get curious about how we can respond, to get curious about why we're perceiving this as a stress or as a threat, to get curious if the person that we are interacting with is responding from stress, is responding from fear or anger or other heavier emotions, or if they're coming from a place of love, something that we may be misreading, misinterpreting, coloring with our own personal history or shades of our past. So it's so important to get curious about our response and about where things are coming from that we're encountering. That curiosity is so powerful. And when we start cultivating it, when it's easy, it's so much easier to have that tool available when we're really in the thick of a situation where a candid response might escalate things. And I want to be careful not to say that we should ever deny our emotions or stuff our emotions. A very, very big factor of stress, in my view, is emotional stress. And emotions can be very intense, but I feel most so when we are afraid of letting them be felt. And we give control to our emotions when we try to resist them. We try to brush them aside and tell them later will be better. Unfortunately, they have a way of choosing the time that they're going to bubble back up to the surface, and it's rarely at a better time. So acknowledging and being present with our emotions and being curious is such a powerful tool. So that's one thing I wanted to share. I hope that it can take away with you today and consider how you can apply that. And there's so many more tools and so many more life hacks that I love to share with people. And so I have been able to open up my schedule and take people who would like to talk with me. I'm booking 30-minute strategy sessions where we can just schedule a time to talk about what feels heavy right now, what stress you feel like you're facing, or if you have trouble kind of identifying it, we can take that opportunity to uncover some underlying stressors that might be affecting you. We can talk about strategies on how you can begin to transform your relationship with stress. And the goal of this strategy session is to take away 3 actionable items that you can start using right away to transform how you encounter stress, how stress is affecting you, and start to take back control of your life and your whole health without letting stress take the reins. So I hope that you'll take me up on this offer. I hope that you'll book all those spots right up. So I'm bursting at the seams, and I'll open up some more spots if it becomes necessary. But I think now is such an important time with this opportunity, with the chaos that we're currently experiencing with world events, to carve out some time. If you're working from home, take some of that time that used to be part of your commute. If you are not currently working, take advantage of this time to really instill some healthy new habits so that in the end, when we all dive back into life as usual, we've got these healthy habits in place. We can take them with us and we can enjoy better health, greater resilience, and vitality. So thanks for sharing a few minutes with me. I appreciate your time and your attention. I'm wishing you well, and I look forward to talking with you soon.